We are here. We have done it. We have made it. We have exited the weekend and we are now bursting into the week. Of course, when I say we are bursting into the week, we have certainly already bursted into the week because it is in the morning, it is in the afternoon, it is currently 7 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour on your clock, my clock, and anyone who might happen to own a clock, or perhaps you're checking your time on your mobile device, or otherwise. It is, for lack of a better term, another night in the jungle right here, because I am James, you are you, we are here. It is At Home with James. I'm very excited. We are now very well into the 200s when it comes to our episodes. Only weeks ago did we celebrate the pivotal milestone, episode 200, and now we look towards another milestone. In 1 week from tonight, we begin our 1-year anniversary celebration. Can you believe it? It's almost been a year that we have been joined at the hip, like Siamese twins, unable to depart from each other. You and I, James, and the trusted audience, we have been congealed and coagulated as one throughout the dark and disturbing times of COVID-19. But of course, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for COVID-19. So if you're drinking a beverage, whether it's a Budweiser, a Coors, a Heineken, a Grolsch, perhaps you're having a Coca-Cola, or maybe a root beer, a ginger ale, maybe it's a Schweppes, maybe it's a Canada Dry. Perhaps you're having a cream soda, maybe an Orange Crush, or even a Grape Crush. Maybe you're having a glass of milk, or even a hot chocolate, whether you make it with milk, or maybe water. Perhaps you're drinking tap water, or maybe even carbonated water, or flavored water. I want you to take your glass of your miscellaneous beverage. I want you to lift it in the air. I want you to look towards the heavens, look down the middle, or perhaps even look towards hell. And I want you to thank COVID-19 for making this all very, very possible. On tonight's show, I'm very pleased. I'm very excited. This is, we're doing something a little different. We're changing the vibe around the room. Mondays, past month or so, they've been really wacky, a little outlandish. We're going to get to business tonight. I'm going to tell you why. Because it's tax season. Have you filed your taxes? I sure as heck haven't. Now, if you're someone out there, you don't know how to file your taxes, you're not sure what you should be doing, we have got the main man to take you through the do's, the don'ts, to provide you with tips, tricks, and all the know-how in filing your taxes this coming month. We have Andrew Big Daddy Louchuck on the show tonight. Now, when you look up the word fun in the dictionary, that is the antithesis of Big Daddy Lou. You'd think a guy with a nickname like Big Daddy Lou would be upbeat, vibrant, excitable. He's none of those things. If you've got a parade, this guy's going to rain all over it. If there's something you're excited about, he's telling you what's wrong with it and why you shouldn't be excited. I'm going to tell you something. No matter what he says, no matter what he does or what he tries to do, he will not spoil my excitement for his appearance tonight. Also joining us much later on is the return from someone who made their first ever appearance on the show about 2 weeks ago. He is the leader of the Montreal branch of the Guardian Angels. Mike D'Amico is back on the show. Now, if you don't know what the Guardian Angels are, they were founded in New York City in the late 70s into the early 80s as a Crime Stoppers group who do their best to make sure everything is de-escalated with non-violent practices. They carry no weapons, and recently they have opened up a chapter right here in Montreal. Mike D'Amico has come to us all the way from New York, right here to Montreal, the 514 if you're cool, or the 438 if you're not cool. I'm a 438 guy, and I'd like to think that I made 438 quite cool. Mike D'Amico is going to be here. Not only is he cleaning up the streets, he's bringing some much needed information to this show. Now, a couple moments ago, I talked about what is cool. And I'm not talking about 514 anymore. I'm not talking about 438. In just a matter of moments, we have a first appearance on the show, a first real appearance. Now, this person appeared as part of a larger bundle of guests, but this is where things get real. Now, we're going to be talking about things that are cool in just a matter of moments. I'm going to explain why this person is an authority on cool, why they are an expert on being cool, and that's coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do that, I would like to engage with the chat because there's nothing going on in the chat right now. I don't know what's going on. Are people just over it? You tune in tonight, you're like, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to put my greasy little fingers up against my keyboard. I'm just going to sit and watch this handsome young man, TCB, otherwise known as Take Care of Business. So when there's a chat going, you best believe I'm going to engage with it for anywhere upwards of 15 to 20 seconds. Have we had enough of this? I'm having a good time. I came into the show feeling a little crusty, a little curmudgeon-y. I feel good now. On a scale of 1 to 10 Jameses, 10 being the happiest, 1 being least happy, I'm at a well-rounded 6.5 Jameses out of 10. I'm hoping to get to 10 by the end of the night. I will settle for 8. Let us begin with our first guest. Spoke of this person just a few moments ago. We're about to get into the nitty-gritty of what it means to be cool. Let's welcome Cathy Fagan for the first time. Cathy, how's it going?
Hey, it's good. I'm coming to you from Zellers.
You're coming to us from Zellers?
I'm coming to you from Zellers, my favorite space.
Okay, so this is your favorite space now. If I'm understanding correctly, this is the only remaining open Zellers across Canada, dare I say the world.
Yeah, and they chose to open it in Newfoundland.
They chose to open it in Newfoundland. So not only are you in a Zellers, you're in a Zellers in Newfoundland. This is the first time we've ever had someone from Newfoundland on the show. So this is a very big deal.
I'm happy.
Now, would you say that Newfoundland is cool?
I think Newfoundland's pretty cool, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna fire right off the top. Top 3 things cool about Newfoundland, please.
Hiking, beers, and Zeller.
Hiking, beers, and Zellers, 3 things synonymous with what makes Newfoundland cool. Now, Cathy, I would like to talk about your origin story for just a moment, why you are what I have deemed to be the authority of cool.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, so I would say for the past few months, at times I will post something on my Facebook page and I will get a notification, which doesn't happen very often these days. I'd like to think that my content is a little niche, dare I say, off-putting or confusing. But I will see a notification and I'll see that Cathy Fagan has commented on your post, your photo. I click it, and without fail, this is the only thing commented. It's the word cool.
Your posts are very cool, James.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And something that I've started to realize is this Cathy Fagan gets it. I post something, and look, there's a lot of people, they don't get it. I don't think they get it at all. Now, some people might ask, what is there to get? That's for you to figure out. Cathy's already figured it out, right? You get it.
Yeah, I think that there's actually most of the time not that much to get.
Yeah.
It just is.
It just is. And then I will tell you, Cathy, you get it. And you respond in a very cool way. Just, yeah. You don't even put the H at the end of the word. Y-E-A, yeah.
My favorite response.
Yeah, you get it. You get it. And there's not a lot to get, but you're locked in. Now, I asked you, based on this is the research that I did. A smattering of comments on Facebook posts over the past number of months. I was like, you know what? It's time to cut the BS. We have to get someone on this damn show who really knows a thing or two about a thing or two. Now, I understand that you've put together a list of things that are cool. Now, have I left anything out of that title?
Nope, that's exactly what it is, though some of them I'm here to get your opinion on because I'm kind of on the fence.
Okay, now I just want to say something, Cathy. Again, this is the first real time you've been on the show. I want to say that not a lot of people include me in their lists or their opinions. You get it. You get it. You can see that this could be a bit of a volleyball game.
Yeah, this is because I respect your opinion on what's cool, James.
Cathy, I'm writing this down right now. Get Cathy on in the next few weeks. Again, now we're cooking with gasoline. Okay, so we're going to see the list. There's a variety of pictures that are going to be put on the screen, courtesy of our tech person, Dave Kaufman, who's working the board, only the board tonight. So are we ready to see item number 1 on the cool list? As we wait patiently for this item to appear, here we go. Okay, so Cathy, take us through this first image.
This is a Sears catalog. And what's cool about it is the novelty of being a child and being able to go through it and choose exactly what you want for Christmas in advance, and also look at hot people in the bra section.
Okay. So because you're able to, as a child, pick some of your favorite items, perhaps for Christmas, as a kid, I'm already in line with that.
And explore your sexuality.
Okay, so in the fall/winter 1996 catalogs, you believe that people were exploring their sexuality in the bra section. Now, Sears, they were known for showing semi-sultry bra-related photos.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so based on this, based on being able to pick your Christmas gifts and for scoping out babes in bras, you are saying that the fall/winter 1996 Sears catalog is cool.
And I would like to know your opinion on this.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I would have never picked this as cool, but sometimes all we need is an explanation. Now, I would have passed by one of these. I would have thought, this is kitsch. This is fun to look at. There's some nostalgia. Nostalgia is very cool too. Now, when it comes to Christmas, I love Christmas. You'll never hear me say on this show that Christmas is a sexy holiday, but I definitely think that Christmas is, in fact, a cool holiday. Getting gifts is very cool. Looking at bras, is looking at bras cool? Now, are we talking specifically about the bra itself or the bra on a person?
Well, like, you're kind of talking with your friends about what you like. So you're like, yeah, like this girl, she's hot. She's wearing like a lacy, C cup, or this guy has got a pair of boxers on, or boxer briefs that are just like they hug them a little bit tight. You can discuss that with your friends.
Okay, so this is good not only for when you're a kid, but in your later years.
But you can kind of paint your personality with your Sears catalog. So you got shit marked that you want for Christmas, and you're like, oh, I really want this 1999 Ghetto Blaster Extreme, and then you show your friends like, here's what I want for Christmas, and they're like, yeah, you're a straight up hipster.
Okay, so I'd like to point out that you just used the term the 1999 Ghetto Blaster Extreme. Who didn't own that? But also, you can then rip out some of the sexier images and keep them.
Yeah.
Cathy, I agree. This is not only cool, I think it's very cool. I'm going to give this a nice.
That's a really good rating.
There we go. Okay, so I love the beginning. I love the image. I love the doggy and the classic dad and mom. Let's move on to the next image. This is great. I'm very pleased so far. Okay, so Cathy, would you like to do the honors?
So this is known as the Evian of the air industry. They have them at music festivals. They're portable oxygen machines, and they're a really healthy way to get energy that's not doing drugs.
Yeah, okay. Now, Cathy, I don't want to get too personal. Are you someone that enjoys the recreational use of drugs?
No comment.
Okay. Mysterious, very cool.
Yeah, that's right. But I also want to note that Justin Timberlake uses it on tour. That's to restore his vitality. So.
Okay, so JT uses these oxygen tanks. Now, I want to specifically talk about this image. Did you find this on a stock image website or Google image search?
I don't know.
Okay, very cool. All right, so because it's a stock image, I very much enjoy the true lack of effort that went into this. This is right up my alley. This kid A little kind of a scamp, a rapscallion running around. I have to tell you, I've never used an oxygen tank for recreational purposes. Some firemen came into my building once when I called for an ambulance because I thought I was dying. They put an oxygen tank on me, and I did think it was pretty cool of them to help save my life.
Mm, I don't know if that story's very cool.
Okay, now what if I were to reimagine that story? What could I do to make it cooler?
You don't call the police or the fire department.
So just die. A lot of cool people died early on, right? Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin.
Yeah. I think that you would have went at a high note and it would have been really cool.
Wow. Okay. So maybe I start switching the story to, I died.
Yeah. You should just edit that story out of this.
Okay. So we're going to scrub that from here. Okay. So I guess I'm going to have to say that based on this information, it's nothing that I would have considered cool, but I guess it is cool.
Out of 10, though, what would you give it?
Out of 10?
I don't think it's the most cool. I wouldn't have put it second in the slideshow if I thought it was cool.
I would say the fact that it's a stock image really takes me where I want to go. I'll give it a 5 on 10. 5 on 10, cool.
Okay. I can go with that. That's average.
All right. Okay. So let's move on to our next image. As I imagine the coolness is about to increase. Okay. Now we've got, yeah, Cathy, whenever you're ready.
Snowboarding goggles.
Now, was this a Google image or is this you?
This is I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay. A little mysterious.
Yeah, I think that snowboarding this is my one thing I think is really cool. And I'm very serious about this one. I think that when you see people shredding the slopes and they're wearing a good pair of snowboarding goggles, it really amplifies the coolness that they have.
Okay, so they need to be shredding, but also wearing these colorful goggles. Now, what if they weren't wearing the goggles?
They're still cool, but it's like it takes them from a 10 to a 15.
Okay, it takes them to a 10 to a 15. Okay, now do you snowboard?
Do you agree with this? Look at that. It looks so much cooler when people wear snowboarding goggles.
I think the goggles are cool, but this is what's throwing me off. In the reflection of the goggles, does this person have a selfie stick? That to me might be taking it down a couple cool notches.
I think you're right. I hadn't considered that when I was the image.
Okay, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this isn't you.
That's not me.
It isn't you. Okay. Now I want to circle back. Do you snowboard?
Not very well.
Okay. I've never snowboarded in my life, nor have I ever skied.
It's cool that you admitted that.
Okay, so it's cool that I admitted it, but uncool that I don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so being honest is cool.
Yeah, being honest is cool. Being an asshole is cool too.
Okay, so I'm learning here, but being honest about my previous story, uncool.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, so we're going to move on to the next image here. Now, this is quite the image.
Yeah, so both the coffee cup design and when people wear it on sweaters.
Okay, so I'm going to 100% agree on this one. I give this 100.
Nice.
Now, it seems like the scoring metric is changing along the way, but I'm going to give this coffee cup a definite 100% cool. Take me through what you felt when you saw this coffee cup.
James, it's just like we described earlier in that there's no way to really describe it. It just like is. It doesn't mean anything. It just is. Like, this is cool.
Right. Okay. So if somebody were to post this online, you'd see this and you'd be like, oh, I get it.
I'd write lowercase sick.
Oh, so this would get a sick, lowercase sick, but not. Now, can I ask you what your metric of comments are from like best to like passable?
Top one would be sick, cool, nice, and then O.
Okay, so now I know what to look out for.
Yeah.
Now, you don't see these coffee cups in many places anymore.
No.
Are you a big coffee drinker?
I am, yeah. And I've never had coffee from one of these cups.
Okay, so let's dig in for a second. How many cups of coffee do you drink in a day?
Uh, 3 to 4.
Okay, so we're on a similar coffee path right now. I'm 3 to 4 as well. Now, do you consume energy drinks ever?
I like a good sugar-free Red Bull once
I'm
in
going
a
to
while.
tell you something. I'm going to tell you something, Kathy. I drank one earlier today.
Nice.
I had two. I had two coffees, a matcha latte, and then a Red Bull.
Do you feel shame?
Do I feel shame? In some ways, but not about this.
Not about the Red Bull. I don't either, but people shame me when I do drink energy drinks.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. Pat Gordo, who's a friend of the show, he shamed me once for drinking one while but I was gonna teach this guy improv, and he had the audacity to shame me because I was consuming a beverage.
Yeah, it's
Kathy,
gamification.
you get it. You get it.
Yeah.
Now, so I want to take you through a hypothetical here. You told me before the show you periodically watch, which I thought was a very cool answer. I like to deal with hypotheticals on this show. Let's say you've had your 3 to 4 coffees and maybe a Red Bull. You've cut yourself off. It's 6 o'clock at night. You're going out for maybe a stroll. You see that there's a coffee shop selling coffee out of these cups. Are you going to go get one or are you going to wait?
No, I'm gonna get one. And then I'm gonna pour it out.
Okay. You're going to pour the coffee out. So you just want the cup. Sick. Okay. So let's move on to is this the last image or are we already at our last image?
Yeah, we're at the last one.
Damn. That's not cool.
This one's controversial.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm a big fan of cigarettes. I don't smoke them. Kathy, take me through what you think about this controversial image.
I think that cigarettes are cool
Yeah. Tell me why.
because people look cool as fuck when they smoke cigarettes. That
In,
is it. They look fucking awesome when they smoke.
okay, I'm crying right now. In all instances, do they look cool? What if it's someone out in the rain waiting for a bus?
If you're cool, it amplifies your coolness. If you're uncool, there's like to a certain point. Like if you're a little uncool, it makes you cool. But then if you're really uncool, it makes you look
Okay.
strung out. Yeah.
So what about if someone was shredding on the snowboard hills? They don't have the goggles, but they have a dart in their mouth.
No, I don't think that's cool.
Okay, what about someone ashing their cigarette in that cool coffee cup?
Oh, that's a great image. I think that is cool. That is really cool.
Okay, now what about somebody going back and forth in between taking hits of oxygen to a cigarette?
That just screams desperate to me. I don't think that's
Okay.
very good.
Now, what about someone in the dark with one lamp on reading the Sears catalog while smoking?
Yeah, that's like my friend's mom growing up.
Okay, so that's what makes it cool. It's like your friend's mom.
Yeah, the smell of cigarettes brings me back to when I was 8.
It's a very specific memory. Okay, now Kathy, not to get personal, are you maybe a recreational smoker, cigarette smoker?
I rarely smoke cigarettes, but maybe a couple times a year when I'm drinking.
Okay, so this is something that people I would say. Now I don't drink nor do I smoke. It seems like people socially smoke while they're drinking. Now, can you tell me why one triggers the other?
I don't know. It's just like fuck it all.
That's the reason. F it all. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now I would say that I think cigarettes are probably one of the funniest items.
Why?
Why? Now that's a great question. I've never thought about that. I saw a video the other day of a crab smoking a cigarette, and I thought comedy's never going to get better than this. This is a moment that no one would ever expect. The crab had the cigarette in its grip, and you could see the flame getting hotter and hotter. A crab was inhaling a cigarette.
That is funny.
It is funny, right? It's pretty cool. Is that cool? A crab smoking a cigarette?
It's funny, but it's not cool.
It's funny, but it's not cool. Now, what would make it cool? A crab smoking a cigarette. What makes it cool?
What would make it cool?
Yeah.
If it was John Travolta instead.
So instead of a crab smoking a cigarette, it's John Travolta.
Yeah, like 1990s John Travolta.
So you see a crab smoking a cigarette and everyone's losing it. It's like, yeah, it'd be better if it was John Travolta from the 90s.
Yeah, or Hairspray, John Travolta.
Or so not the 90s, more with John Travolta when he played a lady.
Yeah.
Why is that cooler than a crab?
I don't know. It's just like fuck it all. Yeah.
Okay, so F it all. All right. So Cathy, I feel like I've learned a lot. This is certainly going to shape the way I post on Facebook now.
I'll always support you.
You know what, Cathy? It's about time. You mentioned you periodically watch this show. I don't think almost anyone who comes on the show really watches the show. In any event, I don't get a lot of support from my guests. I finally feel supported. You're one of the 3 people that's nice to me that comes on.
Being
Now,
nice is cool.
I think so too. Now, before we let you go, is there anything you think I could be doing to amplify my coolness?
Yeah, I think that if you picked up smoking.
You think I should start smoking?
Yeah.
All right, so this might be a through line tonight. I might check in with some of my other guests about smoking. Now, Cathy, before we let you go, can I depend on you to come back on this show and we can do this again, talk about stuff that's cool according to Cathy?
Yeah, and we can collaborate on a few subjects beforehand and bang it
You know
out.
what? Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
Cathy, look, thanks so much. I'm glad that we finally got you on the show after only a year.
It's been swell, and I'm happy to be here, and I hope you have me back.
I absolutely will. You pass the test. I will have my people talk to your people.
Peace out.
Bye, Cathy. What a cool way to leave the segment. There's just a beat of silence followed by the peace sign. Now, look, I mentioned in the promo for this show, this is about tax season. That segment gave me a lot to think about. A couple things. I want to go find a Sears catalog. A lot of lonely nights out there, and Christmas is eventually coming. Do I want toys? Not really, but I wouldn't say no to a toy. You'd be surprised with how much fun as an adult you can have with toys when there's just, hanging around somewhere. Secondly, I want the audience to start letting me know if you think I should start smoking cigarettes. I've never smoked in my life. I've never dabbled. I've never taken a puff. I think I pantomime smoking quite well, but I don't. This is not going to be the James shows off his talents show. Look, let's get serious for a second. Let's bring in a guy who is not cool, but he is fiscally and financially responsible. Let's welcome, with tax tips and tricks, Andrew Big Daddy Louchuck. Lou, how's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. Been listening into the show and a little bit disappointed about this turn to start smoking cigarettes. That would be rather fiscally irresponsible.
So you think smoking is irresponsible fiscally?
Well, it's an expensive habit,
Okay.
But the only thing that I could see is, since you've mentioned it on the show, you could potentially write off your cigarette addiction on your taxes.
So you think that I'm in a position, if I start smoking in real life, I could use the show to make my cigarette purchases a tax write-off?
Well, yeah, if it becomes part of the show, right? So if you're smoking on air to appear cooler, which I think is something that is important to, I'm not exactly sure why, but it seems to be something that you're interested in. So if you were to smoke cigarettes on air, well, then I think you could claim those cigarettes as, part of the show. So that could be a write-off.
So you think I could claim cigarettes as a business expense?
I think so, yes.
Now,
in this
what
context.
Okay, so this is interesting. Now, what if I smoked on let's say in the park, but I was sharing a cigarette with maybe Dave or Cathy, and we were talking about future ideas for the show?
Yeah, that for me that would be a business meeting,
Yeah.
right? Now, would cigarettes be a topic on the show?
I think we could absolutely do a cigarette night.
Well, I think then you could claim that you're doing product testing.
Okay.
You're trying to see what the cigarettes
Oh,
are like.
so like those people that do like pizza reviews. So like you're like I could
Mhm.
be like, you know how like what Dave Portnoy is to Barstool and his pizza reviews? I could be that, but the cigarette. So instead of like how he has one bite, everyone knows, I could do one puff, everyone knows the rules. And I start taking puffs of cigarettes on the street with various like guests, and then we score the cigarette flavors 1 to 10. So I could take this idea to Barstool and do one puff, everyone knows the rules.
You have yourself a great business idea right there, James. I
Okay.
mean, every time I've been on the show with you, you have come up with amazing ideas that you really just need to put into action, you
So you
know?
think I should start smoking?
Well, again, given that it could end up being a lucrative opportunity for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as we've discussed previously, your financial situation, just there's room for improvement there. This could
Okay.
be a great
Well,
opportunity.
that's a bit of that might be a bit of a low blow.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not trying to say that you know you
Well,
don't
here, let's
make
just
some
put this.
smart
Do you think
decisions.
let's hold on now. Do you think let's comparatively, you and me, who do you think is more set up for a fiscally responsible future?
Well, listen, I don't really think we would want to go into the details
You're
of
right.
this particular question.
Yeah.
However, you know, it's always really important to me to try to help out my friends, and
Encouraging them to smoke.
well, to be fiscally responsible, to
Now,
set themselves up for the future. So if you're interested, I'm really, I'm really happy to help you to set
yeah.
yourself up for that.
Now, have you ever smoked a cigarette?
I I have taken a puff of a cigarette, but I did not know how to inhale
Do you
a
remember
cigarette.
what the brand, or is it the flavor? Do you remember the flavor of the cigarette?
Probably like de Maurier or something, some sort of random,
Yeah.
whatever the person at the
Look,
time
not
was
to not
smoking.
to keep this on cigarettes so much, but I'm curious
Yes.
to know, do you think that bars and businesses would be better suited to go back to allowing their customers to smoke inside? Do you think it would encourage business?
Wow. That is an incredible question. I think that there is quite a few businesses who have made a killing off of the fact that they kind of circumvented the rules, right? So
Yeah.
I think now they have these kind of like cigar smoking lounges, which allows
Mhm.
you to smoke indoors. I
Yeah.
think there's some opportunities there. However, big picture, I
Mhm.
think that the elimination of smoking has reduced healthcare costs, which then goes on to reduce your taxes, right? So
Hmm.
big picture, cessation of smoking, it's a good thing for
Okay.
everybody, um, and for your wallet.
Okay. Well, not to make this the cigarette show. Let's move on to why we're here. We're here to talk about taxes. Now, Lou, let's get right off the hop. What do you think is the biggest mistake people make when they're filing their taxes?
Well, I think the biggest mistake people make is they don't file their taxes.
Oh.
So that's number one. Like I've known quite a few people who have forgotten to do it. They've submitted their taxes late. Things of that nature. That's really going to cost you. The government will end up charging you fees, charging you interest, right? If you owe them money, and
Mhm.
and if you are owed a return, you're just letting that money kind of sit in the government's coffers, not earning interest for you, but earning interest for them. So
Yeah,
if you
now
could take that money,
for the people who might not know what you're talking about, can you define what interests are?
interest. Okay, so basically, interest is a sort of, how could I describe it for in layman's terms here?
Hmm.
So basically, when you loan someone money, right,
Mhm.
they are taking on a risk because you may not pay them back,
Yeah.
right? So what they expect is
Now, when you talk about risks,
right,
how
right,
big
right,
of a
right.
risk are we talking about?
Well, okay. So have you ever loaned anyone any money?
Well, I would say small amounts of money, $5, maybe
Hmm.
$10,
Have you ever
$17.
worried that they wouldn't pay you back?
I suppose there was some worry, sure. I guess it's a risk.
That's a risk. That's right. Yeah. So there's a risk that someone doesn't pay you back. So in order to pay you for that risk, you have to pay the person interest, which is basically a fee, usually in a percentage that you would pay on top of paying back the loan.
Yeah.
Right? So if I gave you, $100,
Let's make it 200.
200. So if I loaned you $200, I said you got to pay me back $200, but I would expect an extra $10. So I want you to pay me back $210 in 6
Right.
months.
Which is smart because then you make $10.
Correct. Exactly. But I risk that
Mhm.
you never pay me back.
Right. So you're not only are you potentially out $200, but you also lose out on a profit of $10.
That is correct. That's the
Which
risk that I
which
take
and then
on.
you could take that $10 and parlay that into perhaps your savings account, which
Right.
would then collect interest.
Or into another loan.
Yeah, or maybe even you buy a pack of cigarettes.
Or maybe yes, a pack of cigarettes. Correct.
Right. That you could then use as a business expense.
Exactly. The cycle you're starting to understand
Yeah.
now, James. You're starting to put all the pieces together. This is
It's
great.
like
I feel like I've really touched you in this moment.
yeah, it's like that
Come through
that
to you.
song from that movie the what's that the Disney animated movie the Lion's Den. Was that song by Billy Joel, The Cycle of Life? Let's get back onto the taxes here. Now,
Okay.
what's something that people can do to better prepare themselves for tax season?
Okay. Well, one of the very best things that you can do to prepare yourself for tax season is
Mhm.
actually to uh, keep all of your receipts. And I'm talking about every single receipt. So
Mhm.
if you go to a store,
Yeah.
if you get a coffee, if you pay for parking, you save that receipt. Okay.
Okay, what about petty purchases?
Anything. Okay.
Okay, so you're telling me if you purchased a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, you're going to hold on to it.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me you buy a new pair of shoelaces and hold on to it.
Save that receipt. Of course. Yeah.
You're buying a box of condoms.
Yeah. Save that
Oh,
receipt. Definitely.
okay.
For
Okay.
sure. That could end up becoming a business expense,
The condoms?
depending on your business. Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, let's not, we'll keep our mind out of the toilet here. Now, I know that there's people that you give your tips to, your financial tips. I'm sure that people have been banging on your door during tax season. True or false?
That's very true. Yes, I'm the person that people come to when they need some tax advice.
Right, which I've done a variety of times. I'm
Hmm.
preparing my taxes. I guarantee you that I'm going to have them in before the 1st of April. I don't want to be an April Fool.
That's a good idea. Like
Yeah.
I said, I'm pretty sure you're owed a return, so you probably have paid too much taxes. So you'll probably get a nice refund from the government, and then you could
See,
use that money to earn interest.
I think that I'm actually going to have to pay taxes this year because I don't think I really I don't think I did well in 2020.
But that's the reason why you won't have to pay taxes.
So you're telling me that I'm going to come out with a receipt at the end.
I guarantee it.
All right. So I have a question for you. So people who are young people, as we call them, they have to start paying taxes. Someone who's turning 18 or has already turned 18 for the first time ever, what's some advice you'd have for the young folks out there who might be watching? Because this show is very popular with teenagers.
Oh yeah, for sure. So if you're a young person, I think the best advice that I can give you is don't let your parents steal your tax return. You know, so that's
Oh,
what parents often do. That so they file your taxes under their name so that they can get your return, right?
Now, are you speaking from a place of experience?
Oh, yes. Yes.
You're telling me that your parents filed your taxes when you were a young person and then kept your tax return?
Yeah, of course, they took advantage of the situation. So I didn't know what I was doing. I had a summer job, right? And I
Where were
had
you
to,
working?
I worked as a landscaper.
Okay.
So
Now, I have a
basically,
question. Now, when
mhm.
you were landscaping, now this is a very off topic, but I would suspect you're a person while landscaping who accidentally exposed their butt crack a lot while working. True or false?
That is incorrect, actually.
Really?
I Yes, actually, the very first week that I started landscaping, I got a massive, horrible sunburn, and so for the rest of the summer, I covered up. So I was a very
And you mean
conservatively dressed
you
landscaper.
got a sunburn on your lower back into your pants, you mean?
No, that did not happen. I got a sunburn on my neck and my face and my arms that were exposed. I was wearing a t-shirt. I was wearing pants and a belt. So the belt stopped me from exposing my cheeks. Now, I will admit, and I'm not proud to say it, but there have been moments in my life where I've had crack slip. That's something that happens from time to time to all of us. uh, especially when we're, for example, bending over to pick up something off the floor.
Do you have any tips for
Um,
people looking to not expose their butt crack?
yeah, one of the most important thing you got to do is you got to have pants that fit properly, and you would also require the use of a belt, a tight belt, around your waist to ensure that the
Now, would you say
pants don't slip down.
would it be wise to maybe go one notch further than you need to go in order to ensure that you're not exposing yourself?
I think it really depends on the situation. You don't also want to make yourself uncomfortable, right?
Mhm.
Because that would also be bad. So you're gonna have to ride a fine line there, right? You got to weigh the pros and cons,
Yeah.
as I'm want to say.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's of course I took things off track here. Now, you're saying that your
Hmm.
parents took advantage of the fact that you were a young landscaper, you're a young person, and you're saying they kept your tax return from almost 20 years ago.
Right. Well, but then they like to say that they also paid for my room and board and paid for my tuition at
They're manipulating.
university.
That's manipulative.
Yeah, so I mean, like, technically it was my money, right? So, but going back to like the tips that we have for these young folks, so just make sure that you file your taxes on your own so that you
Mhm.
can get back that return, right? And then you could do
Right.
whatever you want with it.
Otherwise, you end up in the same situation as Macaulay Culkin, famous young person.
I'm not aware of what happened to Macaulay Culkin.
Well, we'll save that for. We'll save that for another episode. Lou, before we let you go, do you have any last bit of advice for me as we really close in on the end of tax season?
Well, I think that the number one thing for you is you have to go back and try to, either find some receipts, you know, check around in your maybe your garbage can, your recycling, get all the receipts you can out,
You think
you
that
know.
I haven't thrown my garbage out in the past year, so I might find 2020 receipts in my garbage can?
I mean,
That's quite an indictment.
yeah, I'm not saying that it's it's something that if I walked into your apartment right now, I would see that, but would I put it past you? I don't know, you know? I mean, has there been times where you've kept your recycling cans in your closet to the point where you couldn't use your closet anymore because it was overfilling with cans?
That is correct.
So
All right,
hopefully,
checkmate.
maybe
Checkmate.
there's some receipts somewhere in there that you could pull out and then you could claim those on your taxes.
All right, so how about this? How about two things? I'm going to go look for some old receipts and I want you to do some research on Macaulay Culkin, famous young person.
I'll do that. How do you spell his name?
Well, I believe it's
M-A-C.
MACAULY space
A-L-U-Y?
Y
Yeah.
And then space Culkin.
Culkin.
Yeah.
Hulkin. Like it's like a like caulk, like a caulking that you would put in your bathroom,
Yeah,
right?
it's like caulking that you put in your bathroom. All right. Well, it looks like we both have some homework to do.
Okay. Well, listen, as always, I appreciate being on the show. I hope that I'm able to reach out to some young folks and help them with their financial needs. So if you have any other,
I feel very assisted.
that's great. So
I
if you
would
have
say
any
that
more
not only
questions,
have you touched me tonight, you've touched a lot of young people.
well, that's what I aim to do. That's my goal.
Touch young people.
That's right.
All right. Well, Lou, thanks so much for being here and good luck on your taxes in 2020 into 2021.
Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the show, everyone.
What a nice way to end the segment. It's not often that the guests tell you, the audience, to enjoy the rest of the show. And with that said, I can finally engage with the chat. I see Sid Rock in there telling me that engaging with the chat is cool. I agree. If engaging with the chat is cool, I'm the coolest cat walking the streets right now because I'm always engaging with the chat. We've had a nice crowd tonight on a Monday. Mondays are maybe the best night of the week on the show. I'm not sure. We start high on a Monday. There's oftentimes a dip on a Wednesday. I can't tell if that's because Andy's house band is here. People have had enough. Then we go up on Friday, and then there's maybe like a dip in the midway part of the show. Then it goes up by the end. Let's welcome our final guest of the evening right here on Twitch. As mentioned, he is the leader of the Montreal chapter of the Guardian Angels. He is Mike D'Amico. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Hey, James, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. It's
to
it's
see
a
you.
pleasure to see you again. Of course, thank you for keeping our streets and metro stations safe.
Hey, my pleasure.
Well, you've been in Montreal for a number of weeks now.
I just
How
want
have
to
you
make sure people can hear me. Can everybody hear me?
I think that I could. Well, it sounds like you're coming to us from the metro station.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm coming from the underground.
Coming from the underground. So if you can hear Mike D'Amico loud and clear, let us know. Mike, can you let us know what it's been like to having moved to a new city? If there's any challenges, have you become acclimated to the new city now?
Oh, I don't know if I've become acclimated, but there's been some challenges. I don't speak French, James.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Well, this is a bilingual city. That would probably pose some problems when you're trying to de-escalate situations and scenarios, as they say.
Yeah, I've come to use sort of gesticulation and the common language that is body language to talk to some of the French people of this fine town.
Okay, so take me through that. Have you had to break up any type of encounters or fights?
Oh yeah.
Well, how would you go about disengaging?
Well, well, first things first is you got to say, whoa, hey, slow down. And we don't use weapons. That's
Yeah.
So we never.
Okay, so I want to jump in. You said your move was whoa, a slow down. Now, of course, if they speak French, they're not going to understand what you're talking about.
Well,
now, how would you go about making it clear to these francophones that you're looking to de-escalate?
Well, whoa and a, those are common tongue.
Well, if I can give you a lesson, you might have some help for yourself. If instead of you say whoa a, you go whoa la.
Whoa la.
Yeah, whoa la.
Whoa la.
And then
Is that it?
Instead of whoa la.
Whoa la.
Yeah, and then instead of slow down, what are you doing?
I go.
Okay, so that gesticulation makes sense. It kind of like lets everybody cool our jets.
Slow down.
Yeah, slow down.
Yeah.
But you could also, if you wanted to say it in French, you could say "Wow là, on se calme."
What the fuck?
Yeah, that means, whoa, hey, let's calm down.
Wait, hold on. There's whoa la.
Yeah, wow là, on se calme. Well, no, that sounds like you're saying, oh, scum. No, you want to say, on se calme. On se calme.
On se calme.
Yeah. So try it from the beginning.
Whoa. La. On se calme.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm listening to Google Translate give me the dialogue.
Oh, that must be pretty good then.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So Mike, there's been some challenges. Where
Yeah,
have
as I
you
was
been
saying, no
patrolling?
weapons. We never use any weapons.
No weapons. Okay. So you've been able to disengage and de-escalate without using any violence.
Yeah, I've never had a weapon. Never owned one weapon. Never want to see one ever.
All right. Now, where have you been patrolling over the past couple weeks that you've been here? I know you've been in the metro stations. Where else?
Oh yeah, we go to the metro. We go from all the way to Agrignon to Berry-UQAM to Montmorency. You know, to.
So you only do that path.
What do you mean?
You only do Angrignon to Berry-UQAM up to Montmorency. You don't go to the Blue Line or anything?
Oh no, we go to. I was at. Geez, what's the name of the yellow line?
Yeah, it's called the Yellow Line.
Yeah. What's it in French?
Le Ligne Jaune.
Le Ligne Jaune.
Yeah.
So I was on that one, and went to this place called La Ronde, and I patrolled.
Wait, you
around
got
there
into La Ronde?
Well, me and my boys, we snapped the chains on the.
Well, that
gate.
sounds like a crime.
Well, we were
Hold on, that
worried.
sounds like...
We were worried, James, that
You got a tip
we got a hot tip that someone was in trouble.
at a currently closed.
There was a monster
amusement
on the
park.
loose.
Oh, I understand. So somebody gave you a hot tip that there was a monster on the loose. So you took the metro and broke into La Ronde, and then I'm sure you found out what this monster was.
No, I never found it.
Well, no, the monster is the name of one of the rides at the amusement park.
Oh,
I think you were duped.
well, that makes sense. I left thinking, oh, maybe the monster is inside all of us.
Oh, you thought it was something more poetic,
Yeah,
but
I
it
thought
was
maybe
just
a poetic warning that we were.
no, it's just a roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
So you effectively committed a crime to stop a crime. Does that make it okay, Mr. D'Amico?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you cleared that up.
What
So
do you
what
think?
else is?
Does the ends justify the means?
I think in some situations it does. Yes.
What you committed a crime to prevent another crime, James?
No, I can't say that I have. No.
Of course you wouldn't.
What does that mean? You think that I'm kind of a good guy, right?
Well, maybe too good.
Too good. You think I could stand to be a little bad?
I think you could be a little bad,
You think that would make me cooler?
Let me see.
Look at me.
James, are you in trouble?
No, I'm not in trouble at all.
Okay,
Why?
because you're giving a look kind of like.
No, I was trying to give you all of my angles to decide whether or not I was cool.
People give that look on the subway when they're in trouble. They don't want to say anything.
Right. So has that happened to you since you've been here?
Oh yeah, I got a look from a guy just like you, small little guy just like you, on the metro. He gave me a look like that. Turns out he was being chased.
He's being chased on the metro?
Yeah,
Well, who was chasing him?
a criminal, James.
So a criminal was chasing, quote, a small little guy just like me.
Yeah,
All right.
probably thought he was an easy prey.
How tall do you think I am?
I don't know, 4'11".
4'11". You think I'm 4'11"?
Oh, you're smaller than that?
No, I'm bigger than that.
Oh,
Take another guess.
5'2".
So you gave me 2 extra inches.
3'12".
No, I'm not 3'12".
Because that'd be 4 foot, James.
Yeah, I hover around 5'9", 5'10".
Okay,
Yeah, well, how tall are you?
I'm 6'8".
You are a gargantuan.
Hey.
Well, no, that's a good thing. It means people wouldn't want to mess with you.
Okay.
Well, now, of
And
course,
I'm the smallest one in my group. I'm
you're
standing
the-
up
so
right now, and all these
you're
guys are
standing up right
behind
now?
me, Yeah.
how tall are all these guys?
Well, there's Gary Goatee to my right.
Yeah, of
He's,
course.
7'1".
Mm-hmm.
There's my dad next to him. That's
Your dad is
Michael
one of the
Potts.
guardians as well.
oh yeah,
What's your dad's name?
Michael Potts D'Amico.
Michael Potts D'Amico?
Yeah.
It's quite a middle name.
What do you just judge people? It's his name. What do you want me to make something up?
His middle name is Potts?
Well, it's a nickname.
What's your middle name?
Johnny.
So your dad is Michael Potts D'Amico, and you're Mike Johnny D'Amico.
Yeah.
Look, I think we're getting off the trail here a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm curious to know about your time here in Montreal. I understand that you and the other
You
Guardians
don't
have
want to
been
know the heights of the rest of these guys behind me?
Oh no, I don't know if we have time to list off 8 other heights.
Okay. I can do it
I
really
understand
quick.
that you. Okay, well let's do it then.
Okay. 8'2", 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", 7'1", 7'3", 9 feet.
Even.
Even, Steven.
All right. So getting back to it, I understand that you and the Guardians have been patrolling the COVID vaccination centers.
That's right. Well, you know how there's a lot of old people getting vaccinated right now, you know?
Sure.
That they're easy prey for criminals.
Okay, so you think that it would be a possible haven for criminals to show up and rough up some of the
Well,
elderly?
that's statistics, James. Statistically, old people are the most robbed people.
Really? Okay,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did not know that.
People take stuff from old people all the time. You know, dentures, Werther's Originals, fucking pocket watches.
So you're saying that old people are being shook down for their teeth and candy?
That's right.
All right,
How
now.
you gonna chew on the candy if you don't have teeth?
Okay, so these supposed criminals also are toothless.
Sometimes they are, yeah.
So they're stealing the teeth from the elderly so
that
they can
suck on
enjoy
the candy.
so they can
they're
enjoy
also
candy.
stealing, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, have you encountered any crime at any of these vaccination centers?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I saw one old guy. He got stabbed.
An old guy got stabbed. This wasn't in the news.
Oh, got stabbed by this giant needle.
You mean he was vaccinated?
Excuse me?
I'm saying
No,
it
but
sounds
that's
like
a
what.
vaccination center, James.
Yeah, what I understand that, but it sounds like what you're saying is that this
And then this
old
guy in a fucking gown comes out and stabs him with a needle.
Yeah, that what it sounds like you're detailing is an elderly person
Can
who
you
was waiting
believe
for
it?
their. Yeah, I can believe it. It sounds
So
like they were
we
waiting.
shook this guy down, James.
Okay, so this is what it sounds like to me. It sounds like an elderly person had their COVID vaccine
And
appointment.
his freak's pockets were full of rubber gloves.
Yeah, okay. As I was saying, he had an appointment and he got vaccinated by this person in the gown. What I would probably define as a medical technician or a nurse administered the vaccine, and they were dressed in medical garb.
I mean, that's one reading of the scenario, but you weren't.
What
there,
did you
James.
do? What did you do? What did you and your fellas do?
Well, we don't have weapons for one, so we threw away all this guy's needles. He was gonna attack more old people, so we found a bunch of weapons and we threw them all away.
So you took all of the needles that were going to be
We took
used
his
to administer.
weapons, James.
Okay,
and we
you took his.
disarmed him.
You took his needles, also known as his weapons, that he was going to use to stab, otherwise known as vaccinate the elderly, and you destroyed
Destroyed them all.
You've destroyed all the needles at the vaccination center.
Absolutely, and I'd do it again too. I gotta save all these old folks, you know. There's companies now that are just coming out with all sorts of weapons just to stab people. These companies are like Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson and Johnson. Can you believe how much money goes into manufacturing these kinds of weapons?
Okay, so you are on a crusade to destroy all the COVID
All
vaccines
the
because you
weapons
believe.
that are stabbing old people. Yeah.
Okay, so you think there's an arms race to take down the elderly?
Oh, there's always an arms race, James. If you once you go weaponless, you notice that all these weapons they get bigger and stronger every year.
What
the
was
U.S.
the- what was-
government supplies some of our biggest foreign rivals with a bunch of weapons, and it just it goes on and on. War is cyclical. We got to stop it all.
But what was the reaction from all of the elderly?
Applause.
They were clapping for you?
I think. I don't know. I didn't stick around.
So you're telling me you showed up at one of the vaccination centers, destroyed a bunch of needles, and left?
Oh yeah, we got more centers to hit up.
Wait,
Gotta
so
save these people.
Look, I think that what you might be doing is misguided. Not to judge you, Mike, because I have a lot of respect for you.
What do you mean?
Well, you know that there's a pandemic going on, right?
Exactly. You would think that
What?
during such a tremulous, tumultuous time,
You just say tremulous?
tremulous time, people wouldn't be attacking old people like that. It's unbelievable, right,
But
boys?
but they're shots. They're getting inoculated with a
Yeah,
vaccine.
they might as well be shot. You know,
I'm not sure what to say to you, Mr. D'Amico.
just say you're not going to hurt anybody, James. And
I have no intention of hurting anyone, but I think you need
that's
to
what this
maybe.
guy in the gown said.
Oh, he was trying. He was pleading with you before you attacked him
Sorry, my
and
blood
destroyed all of
pressure is
his
super
vac.
high.
What's that
My
now?
blood pressure.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe your blood pressure wouldn't be so high if you stopped getting into violent situations. You're
Well,
supposed to be non-violent.
I don't use weapons, James. I never said I don't use violence.
So you just okay. I understand, but aren't you only supposed to use violence when provoked?
James, are you messing with me right now?
No, I'm not messing with you. I'm just trying to understand, Mike.
James, have you ever seen an old person get stabbed?
Yeah, I've never seen an
You
old.
have?
No, I'm saying I haven't seen an old person get stabbed, but I've seen an old person vaccinated. You know, my mother's going to get vaccinated probably within the next few
Oh,
months.
God bless her. Thank God.
Oh, so you're going to allow that to happen?
Oh, vaccination for sure.
Yeah, but that's what these are, Mike.
You must be mistaken.
No. I don't think. How about this? How about we? It sounds like we have to agree to disagree on this.
We agree to disagree.
All right. Well,
I don't like old people getting hurt, and you seem to, so we agree to disagree.
yeah, I know. I don't like old people getting hurt either. I just think that destroying vaccination is probably not the way to go.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, well, before we let you go, Mike, would you like to tell people like potential dangerous hot spots to stay away from in the next little while? Of course, you've been patrolling the streets. Any areas that you think are worth avoiding and staying away from?
Stay away from La Ronde.
Yeah, because there's a monster on the
There's a
loose.
monster on the loose, and it's not the monster that lives in all of our hearts.
Yeah.
Stay away from. There's like a big orange.
You mean the orange julep?
Yeah. Stay away from that.
Why?
There's a street gang that takes up the parking lot in there.
Oh, let me get the street gang with the classic cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a once a week event that happens at the Orange Julep where these car enthusiasts get to enjoy each other's cars.
Yeah, that's not all they enjoy. They also
What are you
enjoy
saying?
illicit behavior,
Such as?
such as well, I haven't seen anything, but I can tell a bunch of people with money like that to afford cars like that, they're up to no good.
Okay, what other hot spots would people think about avoiding?
I would avoid the cross by the mountain
Why?
because there's a bunch of people with sharp poles, sharp poles that are patrolling around there.
What are those people picking up garbage?
No, they got like blades on their feet and they got blades in their hands.
Oh, you mean cross-country skiers?
Whatever you want to call them. I call
Yeah,
them.
whatever I want to call them. All right.
I call them criminals.
All right, criminals. Well, look, it sounds like there's still some acclimating that you need to do to our city, Mike. Can I ask you
Maybe.
one final question before we let you go?
Sure. My dad needs
What-
me soon, so I got a gun.
Sure. What's your position on smoking?
It's my position on it.
Yeah.
Don't do it in the subway.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it in church. Other than that, it's all good with me.
It's all good with you. Okay, so do you think I should pick up smoking?
Are you a stressed out kind of guy?
Not particularly.
Are you looking for are you like a handsy kind of guy? You like
What do you
getting
mean
your hands on
handsy?
stuff?
Well, I use a pen.
Oh yeah, you should start.
All right, so that settles it. Well, Mr. D'Amico, I want to wish you and the rest of the Guardian Angels the best of luck, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for keeping our city safe.
Hey, James, do you ever need anything? Are you ever in trouble? You let us know, okay?
I absolutely will.
You give me that look again, and I'll come running.
That one?
Yeah, you look like you're in trouble. You know.
All right.
That's all
Well,
you need to do. You don't need to say a word.
all right. I'll be sure to do that. Thanks, Mike.
All right.
That's Mike D'Amico of the Montreal chapter of the Guardian Angels. And that is our show. Of course, I want to thank Cathy Fagan for being here and letting us truly know what is cool and what it means to be cool. I want to thank Andrew Louchuck, aka Big Daddy, for not only giving me tax tips, but you tax tips as well. We've done it. We made it. We have visited one corner of the show all the way to the other. We've gone to the attic of the show all the way down to the basement. We have explored. And now, not only do I, but all of our guests bid you adieu. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to be back on Wednesday. Who's going to be here? Carla Ma is going to be here and so much more. Until then, I am James. You were you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell. And of course, be well.